I was blown away when I started researching you about your dive into laundromats, because it's not a business that originally I think a lot of people think of as a core business that helps our society run.
Yeah.
But how do you get into laundromats, and why laundromats?
Yeah, interestingly enough, it was not a business we were looking to get into. The last thing I was looking for was another business, to be quite honest. Um, I've already been stretched too thin, and now I'm really. It's interesting because now I've narrowed. I do very little. I still do some, but not a lot of brokerage. Not the way I used to do. And most of my business is focused on laundromats today. But I'll tell you how it started. It was the solution to a real estate problem. My partner and I were buying a 50,000 square foot retail center in Abilene, Texas, and
All right.
we're under contract for this center. It was 30,000 was leased, 20,000 was vacant in the center, but it was still cash flowing. And, we're buying it at like an 8 cap on actuals,
Yeah.
so it was a solid deal, with upside on it. But we were looking for tenants to fill the vacancy. And I was at a real estate conference and just visiting with different tenants, talking about this particular asset, and pitched it to a laundromat guy at the conference. He had a little table set up there. And he came back to me a couple weeks later and he said, Ken, he said, man, this is, I ran the numbers and demographics. This is actually an ideal location for a laundromat. And I was under the impression that he was a laundromat operator. And so I'm talking about what he needs in terms of lease. He's like, we need a 10-year lease. We could pay up to this much. And he said, we pay $15 a square foot in rent. And I'm like, well, we're charging 4. So this is going to be a home run for us, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, through the process of working with him, I realized that he was not an operator. He was actually a manufacturer's rep for laundromat equipment. But he introduced us to the local distributor. So through the distributor, we were trying to find an operator. And we were just in a market where they didn't have anyone teed up ready to go, but we just kept toying with the idea. Well, what if we became the operator? And so my partner and I that were buying the real estate, we said, yes, we would be interested in that. No, we would not be a good operator of that because we just know ourselves. We're great visionaries, great fundraisers, great starters, not great stick with it and be the operator kind of people. However, there was a gentleman that I had met and gotten to know really well through my time at KW. He was actually running all of the commercial and luxury operations at KW. And I'd tried to recruit him onto our real estate team a number of years ago, but yeah, this is pre-COVID when you actually needed someone to be on site. And so he
Yeah.
didn't want to relocate and move. And so that didn't work out, but we've kept in contact, and I really respected this guy a lot. He was actually a West Point grad, multi-tour over in Afghan Iraq, a former professional baseball player, just a leader of leaders was this guy. And so anyway, we went to Skylar and said, hey man, would you know, be interested in exploring this industry with us? And he said, yes. So we took a full year, the three of us, really learning about the industry before we dove in and opened a store. We went to industry conferences. We read, trade magazines and kind of learned what was going on in there. We talked to other operators. We really kind of dug into it, and we went to several different like meetups from the manufacturers reps that they were having, and really studied the business. And we said, you know what, we think this is something that could work. But if we're going to do it, we said we don't want to just do this to fill a space in one. So if we're going to do this, let's create a business around it. And so we've created our own brand. It's called Laundry Luv, LUV. We've got a children's play area, children's literacy area in ours. Really big. Our stores thus far have been 6,000 or 7,000 square feet. So we've got 3 open, all between 6,000 and 7,000 square feet. Spacious, well lit, staff locations with friendly attendants and lots of machines and TVs up on the wall. And my big rule for our stores is that our TVs only play positive programming, right? So no news, no daytime TV, no Geraldo or Sally Jesse Raphael, no junk on the TV, right? I want positive programming that people can get maybe something good out of what's coming through the TVs right there. So anyway, we've created this. We opened our first one in late 2019, just in time for COVID to hit, and but limped through COVID and now are really thriving with that store. We opened 2 more this year, and our plan for next year is we'll open at least one more, maybe two, as far as this ground up kind of construction, and then we'll purchase 6 to 10 next year. So we're really starting to scale up the operations of that. But the beauty of our laundromat business is that we're real estate guys, right? So everything we're doing, as far as when we look at purchasing laundromats, we're only looking to purchase if we can also acquire the real estate. And that real estate could be a single tenant building with just a laundromat, or it can be a 100,000 square foot shopping center that we can also buy the laundromat operations in there. So for us, it's a big, it's a dual operations play, both the operations of the laundromat and the real estate setting. So we're creating hopefully a very large real estate portfolio as we go through this process.
A change of pace from the get rich quick gurus. Subscribe to the Real Finds podcast for in-depth conversations with voices shaping the real estate world.